Number of buildings there. This was this afternoon, and the fire is still continuing tonight. Right now, you can hear the explosions in the background there. This is right off of Front Street. The video comes from Alan Dakar. He was there. A county spokesperson says an unknown number of people were forced to run into the ocean. They were overwhelmed by flames and smoke. The Coast Guard deployed several boats and picked people up from the harbor and took them to safer places. We got off the phone with Mr. Dakar, who witnessed this fire.
I had to evacuate because of that fire and just got to Kahului, so I have service. That's why it just got posted. So that was this afternoon around probably 4:30 in bright sunshine, full blue sky, but you couldn't tell from that video. That was taken from Front Street, right near the corner of Dickinson, which is, and looking down at the main business district in Lahaina, and buildings on both sides were engulfed. I think on the right, the building that you see where the second-story balcony is completely in flames, I think that's where Lahaina Pizza Company is. That might be Lahaina Loft, but I think it was Lahaina Pizza Company. And on the other side, the buildings towards the end of that row right before the ocean walk were completely engulfed. And I have another picture where you see the sign just suddenly burst into flames, and you realize the fire just shoots out. And there were no fire trucks at that point. I think the fire department was already overwhelmed with other fires nearby. And it's amazing because that is the most important business street on Maui.
And that is the area where people were jumping into the water to escape the smoke and flames. And as Maui County spokeswoman Mahina Martin confirmed, the Coast Guard deployed cutters to save and rescue those people in the water and to move them away to the shore to safety. We're also told a firefighter who was responding to the West Maui fire has experienced smoke inhalation. He was taken to the Maui Memorial Medical Center and is in stable condition. And we just got new video into the newsroom from our viewer, Justin Wu. This is what the fire in Lahaina looks like from above. He was a passenger on a Hawaiian Airlines flight. You can just see how massive that fire is.
Yeah, this is really eye-opening here. If you know the Lahaina area, this is right in the middle of town. And of course, seeing it from an airline overhead, if you really take a closer look, you can see this fire covers numerous blocks in Lahaina. Unprecedented in my lifetime on the news here in Hawaii. It reminds me of the Chinatown fire of 100+ years ago. An entire historic district burning tonight, out of control. Fire crews on the ground have been up since the wee hours tonight fighting fires, and the county is absolutely overwhelmed. The National Guard was approved to come and help them, but they're still on the way. Traffic is an absolute standstill. The entire town is shut down. Emergency crews are just trying to keep people out while they can contain the area. So you can get a sense of what a serious situation this is tonight. We caught up with the county spokesperson, Mahina Martin, earlier in this hour. Here's our conversation.
And now joining us live via Zoom is Maui County spokeswoman Mahina Martin. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Mahina, we know that it is a very busy night for you with the emergencies that you're handling right now. With that, could you give us an update on what those emergencies are at this hour?
Yes, absolutely. It's quite a situation we have here on Maui Island. Our emergency crews are responding to multiple fires across Maui. In particular, we've experiencing fires up in the upcountry area in Olinda and Kula. We have also been battling with our fire crews on the West Maui area. These are fires popping up in different locations. We have opened multiple emergency shelters throughout the island to assist our residents. At this time, both fire areas are active. Our crews, it's all hands on deck. We're here in full activation mode at the Emergency Operating Center here in Wailuku tonight.
Ms. Martin, we're trying to get a sense of the scope of this crisis. We're hearing from people on social media that They're going to pull off on the side of the highway. They don't know where they're going to stay tonight, even though shelters are open. Communication has not been great. It appears a cell phone tower may have been damaged in Lahaina. Can you give me a sense of the mood there on the island? I would imagine we're having quite a few people feeling just that they're on their own this evening.
Well, we can certainly appreciate there is a feeling of anxiety. Our focus has been on the safety of the public and the safety of our first responders. While we know that we have emergency shelters in place for those areas, we also know that there are residents and visitors as well who are trying to deal with conditions that are ever changing. Even our road closures are occurring at a fast pace as our firefighters deal with fires moving unpredictably with high winds conditioned and different sources of fuel in the different parts of the island. For our residents, it's important that they evacuate if our emergency personnel advise them to evacuate, to stay safe. We recently have been experiencing currently in the West Maui area a lack of communication. The landlines were down, cell phone towers are down. So residents, of course, are very concerned with not just each other, but conditions of where they go and how do they get information. We are very fortunate that we have been able to stay very active on this fire and try to send out information. But for the lack of communication on the west side, that remains a problem for us. We know that the exit to Lahaina has been outbound only recently. Down power lines prevented exit and entry into the West Maui area for a few hours this evening as well. And that compounded all of the situations we're dealing with.
And we're looking at video of massive flames just engulfing this historic section of Front Street, destroying the businesses there. What can you tell us about the situation there, as well as whether or not people are still in the water waiting to be rescued by the Coast Guard?
We did receive reports that there were residents who had entered the ocean on the West Maui area in response to conditions of smoke and fire. The Coast Guard did respond appropriately and quickly, took them to safe areas. With regards to the fire there in Front Street and any parts of West Maui, it is fast moving, it's ever changing. Traffic is certainly compounding it. If people are not in the impacted areas, please stay off the road so that those who need to evacuate are able to evacuate.
And Ms. Martin, last question before we let you go. What is the county's most reliable communication method tonight?
We are deploying as much as we can. The mauicounty.gov is the site. Our social media platforms on both Facebook and Instagram will contain information. We also advise folks to get on mauicounty.gov and sign up for the Maui Emergency Management alerts. From that, you will also get area-specific alerts, including evacuation orders.
And Ms. Martin, actually, one more question. Is it true that members of the Hawaii Army National Guard have been activated to respond to the situation there?
We have requested assistance from state, federal, in conjunction with all county agencies. We have deployed as much assistance as we can from the state, including state DOFA crews, state airport fire crews. We have requested assistance from National Guard. As you know, Coast Guard responded recently. We are awaiting completion of the process to our request that we put in for the National Guard.
All right, thank you so much. Our hearts go out to all the first responders on a very difficult night. And you heard it from Lahaina Martin there. You sign up on the county's website for alerts. And also, of course, hawaiinewsnow.com. We're digging for the latest information around the clock, and we will bring it to you as soon as we get information confirmed.